I thought I would hop on here and just quickly share my meatloaf recipe. It is early Sunday morning. Everybody's still in bed and I'm trying to get lunch done, so it'll be done before we get home from church today. What I did was started with 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 cup of peppers I had chopped in the freezer, 1 cup of onions, 1 cup of quick oats, 1 cup of ketchup. Then I had 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and just a few shakes of Worcestershire sauce. I did about 6 shakes. Now I'm going to scramble up, just kind of whip the eggs lightly. I will add them in, and when that's all done, I will put them in our pans to go into the oven. So for now, I need to get the eggs going and get this mixed up. Okay, there they are. We're all ready for the oven. I'm going to put them into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. And while that's going, I'll wash up the bowl I used to mix with and get the topping going that we will be putting on top of the meatloaf. And then I'll show you how I've already got the sides going too. Okay, here we go. I just put the meatloaf in the oven, or the loaves I should say. Before I ever started mixing the meatloaf though, I got my water going because we're going to have macaroni and cheese for a side, and we're going to have baby limas. So I got both of those on the stove so that it will be ready to go time I got everything mixed up. So now I'm just going to pour the noodles into this water and let them cook until they're done, and transfer them into a crock pot and get the rest of it all mixed up to make delicious macaroni and cheese. And I'll get my bowl washed real fast before I start mixing the topping. Goodness guys, I was in my zone going, and I almost forgot to show you. This is our topping for the meatloaf. We have 2/3 cup of ketchup, 2 to 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. I only use 2. My little man doesn't like his sweet, so I just use 2. 2 tablespoons of prepared yellow mustard, and just a few shakes of Worcestershire sauce, maybe 3, 4, just click, and done. So we'll just stir this around, mix it up, and that's done. Back behind me, the macaroni noodles are still going. The meatloaves are doing their thing in the oven. I've got everything washed up. All the spices are put away. Everything's cleaned up, except for a few things that were left in the sink overnight. Sorry. My camera lady's still in the bed. I'm having to wing this on my own this morning. And it was impromptu. I didn't plan to do it, but I thought, so many people like this meatloaf recipe. I thought I would just share how I do it. It's quick. It's easy. I used to think it was horrible. I used to think the cleanup was terrible. But I'm telling you guys, the more you do it, the easier and quicker it gets. You get into your rhythm. Because look, I set the timer for 30 minutes when I put the meatloaves in. Everything's already cleaned up. Everything's going on the stove. I actually even boiled over my butter beans. This is a neat little trick I'll give you. When I was washing the dishes, I wasn't paying attention to the stove and they boiled over terrible. But you can't tell it now, and this is why. I grabbed the rag from the sink, and it was already wet because I had just used it. I just kind of rinsed it out a little bit. Once I got everything calmed back down over here, I just took the wet rag, wiped everything down where it spilled on the stove on the side of the pot. And it's nice and clean. Those are reflections there. That's not anything on the stove. So, just one little quick tip for you. And there's the stuff I cleaned up, plus some rings that were drying overnight. And that's done. I always have to take my cast iron out of the oven when I get ready to do something in the oven. So those will get put up when we get home from church, or if we have time before church, we'll be done. Okay, excuse me. They've been in the oven for 30 minutes. The next part is to take them. It's the trickiest part, and drain the grease off of it. You may have to hold the loaf in the pan with a covered hand, but it's not too bad. Just pour the grease off and then coat them with the topping. Okay, that's good enough. You will never get 100% of the grease out because it's not fully done. So I've drained as much as I can. There was not very much fat in this meat. So now we'll take the topping and coat each one. I'll just dollop a little across the top to begin with. And when that part is done, I just spread it out like so. So give me a minute and let me get these topped. There we go. They are ready for the oven. I will put them in for another 30 minutes and they will be done. Okay, you guys, let's get the cheese sauce going. This is not a traditional cheese sauce, but this is how I do it. Oh, I don't need the stove that high. This is how I do it for my macaroni and cheese. I'm doing a double batch because we always do leftovers for the next day. I am melting 1 stick of butter, and to that I will add 5 cups of shredded cheese. So let's get this melted and get the cheese added in. For the cheese, you can use any cheese that makes you happy. A lot of times I'll use a Mexican blend, but today I will be using 4 cups of sharp shredded cheese, because this is just what I have on me. And 4 cheese blend. 1 cup of 4 cheese blend and 4 cups of the sharp. So we'll be right back. Butter is melted. The cheese is going in. I keep everything I'm going to need right here at me, so I'm not running all over the place. I may need 1 more cup of milk, but we'll play it by ear and see. Now, every single time I do this, I am very sure this is not going to work, but it does. Just be patient with it. I'm going to let this cheese melt with the butter. And that's all melted. We'll start adding sour cream, the soup. I use not a nacho cheese. I use a cheddar cheese soup in a can. Canned cheddar cheese soup. And I have a mix of salt, pepper, and ground mustard. I have about almost a teaspoon of each. The salt, there's a teaspoon. Pepper, about 2/3 teaspoon probably. And a teaspoon of ground mustard. 1 cup of milk. Actually, probably I'm going to need 2. I'll start with the 1, and then I'll use about 1 cup of the sour cream. You can see this is already starting to melt. Just let it go a few more minutes and we'll get the other stuff added into it. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm doing this one-handed. It's not easy. Be right back. This is good enough, guys. See, it's all melted. Starting to string. That's good. Now we will start adding our other ingredients. Hold on just a moment. All right. It's hard to see in this light. It's still dark outside and I don't have a lot of light in my kitchen. But we have the 1 can of soup added to the pan. We'll just stir that around. Turn the stove down. Get that all mixed in, and then we'll add in the sour cream. Just be patient with it. Just keep stirring it in. There we go, guys. There's the cheese soup all mixed in. Now I will add in the sour cream. Just be patient. It will come together. It'll be nice and smooth. I promise. I almost forgot. Here we go. There's the sour cream. We'll just keep folding, folding, folding. Stirring, stirring, stirring. Get that mixed in. And we'll add in the milk. And the spices. This crazy pan keeps sliding everywhere. I do recommend using a hand to hold the pan and a hand to stir. Hey, we're doing the best we can do this morning. That's just the way life is, isn't it? We just do the best we can do. And with God and a whole lot of prayer, things just seem to come together in the end, and we have the reward of heaven. We're just all passing through. Look how pretty. It's doing its thing, guys. I told you it would happen. Just be patient. Stir, stir, stir. My arm feels like it's going to fall off, but hey, those old muscles need some exercise. My little guy loves this macaroni. Anytime I make macaroni, he'll say, "Mama, are you making your macaroni?" I have made this one for years. Usually I save it for holidays, but now that the kitchen and I have become friends, I'm willing to make it more often. Look how pretty. All right, let's add in our milk. Like I said, we will probably have to add more. That's okay. Start with a little. And if you're watching the camera instead of the milk, you might spill a little on the stove. It's okay. It cleans. Mixed in. Look, look, look. Oh, yum. I've never cooked through the lens of a camera before. This is a first. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add in the pepper, salt, and mustard. Put in the milk. I'm going to have to sweep again when I'm done. Where my butter beans boiled over, I see some remnants of a couple of butter beans down there. Oh, good, good, good. Let's get the rest of the milk in. This is going to be so good, you guys. Give me just a minute to get it all stirred together. There we go. Nice and pretty and creamy. Ooh, look, you guys. Yes, I have milk on my stove over there. I'll wipe it right up in just a minute. So let's get this into the noodles. Let's see if I can show you with one hand. I've already started. Watch. Oh, isn't that glorious? Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. I can make a meal just off of this. And you know, you guys, if you have this left over, so you're cooking it for any other meal and you have leftovers, you can always take this, add taco meat to it. Oh my. Or even just seasoned ground beef, just with some salt and pepper and onions. It'll be like a homemade pasta cheese meal. Yum! I have done that before. I love it. There you go, guys. There's homemade macaroni and cheese. It is ready to eat at this point, or you can leave it in a crock pot on the keep warm setting, and it's actually even better if you do. All the flavors meld together, but the choice is yours. It is that easy and quick. I hope you enjoy the macaroni. You just heard the oven beeping. My meatloaf is done. So I'm going to pull it out, wrap it in foil, and it'll be nice and ready when we get home. Our butter beans, they are done. I'm just going to turn the eye off and let them sit till we get home. I'll drain off some of the water when we get home and add a little bit of salt and butter to them. And they will be perfect. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's a little different, me trying to hold it with one hand and cook with the other, but I hope it helps and I hope you enjoy it. Y'all have a great day and a blessed Sunday. Okay, here we go. Whoa, there's the meatloaf, macaroni, and butter beans. It's time to eat. Thanks for joining me today.